Hey guys, it's Pebbles. Thanks for watching Pebbles Eats Plants. Today I'm going to talk about a book that was very inspiring to me. It's called Presto, How I Made 100 Pounds Disappear, and some other part of the title. But basically the short form of the title is Presto, and it is by Penn Jillette, who is part of the Penn and Teller team, which they are a magician phenomenon duo, and they have a show in Vegas and they play all over the place, and they're awesome and famous and cool. But Penn Jillette wrote this book because he lost 100 pounds, over 100 pounds on a plant-based diet. And so when I saw that, I knew I had to read it, and I knew they were magicians. I didn't know a lot about Penn himself. It seemed like maybe one episode of his TV show that he had a long time ago, but the book really blew me away. It was so funny and real and inspiring, without being, you know, talking down to you, or I don't know. It just was really cool. Something about it just struck a chord with me. And when I read it, I was already totally plant-based and had already been sort of working on losing weight for probably about 2 years, a year and a half. And I had lost probably about 50 pounds, but I had been the same weight for about 10 months and just kind of up and down within a 3 pound range. And I wasn't happy there, and I had a lot of other stuff going on, but this book, Presto, really inspired me to finish out what I'd set out to do and to really get serious about it and set a goal. In the book, Penn's goal is to get to his target weight by his 60th birthday, and that inspired my 40 Will Be Fab challenge. So I thought it would be fun, because the challenge is coming to an end in three more days, and then it's off to Vegas to celebrate my 40th birthday and celebrate the end of this kind of challenge of really pushing myself to only eat healthy food only. And one of the ways we're celebrating is we're actually going to see the Penn and Teller show on Saturday night at the Penn and Teller Theater at the Rio. And I'm super excited. And he said in the book that he, stays and hangs out afterwards for pictures and autographs and stuff. So I'm so excited. Hope I get to meet him and let him know how much his book inspired me. But I thought it would be fun to kind of go through some of the similarities and differences, because no two people ever have the same journey. And I think one of the things that has really helped me, and one of the ways that I would like to help you, is to try and figure out which pieces of the puzzle are your pieces, because the same exact thing doesn't work for everybody. Some things are true no matter what. So eating animal products is not healthy for anyone. Eating oil is not healthy for anyone. If those are choices you're currently making, that's up to you. But they're not the healthiest choices. But everything else, there are some differences, and there are different paths to get to the healthiest destination for you. So I want to go over the similarities and differences a little bit, and share those with you, and maybe encourage you to read his book or go see his show or try some of these strategies for yourself. So number one, similarities, both plant-based. In my case, I have been for a while, but he switched to plant-based because of health reasons. He had some serious health issues, and this was part of that process to lose weight. We both set ourselves with a very strict focus on what we were going to eat leading up to a milestone birthday. So for him, it was his 60th. For me, it was my 40th. But there was kind of that time deadline and that really hard line of, this is what I eat, and I don't eat other things. And so that was another similarity and something that I think really helped me. Neither of us exercised while we were losing weight. That was something that he mentioned in the book, and it really struck a chord with me. And since then, there actually has been more evidence coming out that supports that. So even though I took the advice of a juggler, which the juggler recommends against and has some sort of funny, rude things to say about you if you take his advice, but I did, and now there's actual scientific studies backing that up. I had a previous video about that. You can check it out. But neither of us exercised while we were losing weight. I focused on making sure my food was squared away and that I was ready to eat the right food, and increasing my sleep. So anytime I could sleep in or take nap, that's what I chose, either that or relaxation. So those were my priorities for weight loss. And potatoes. We both like potatoes a lot. He started his journey with 2 weeks of nothing but potatoes, only potatoes, nothing removed from the potatoes. Very strict, only potato. I did, wasn't quite 2 weeks, it was 10 days of just potatoes. But I did a more soft version and included salt and condiments. So, but it still was a good jump start for me. It's still a strategy that I use if I've been off track a little bit. I will just have a day or two of eating only potatoes. When in doubt, eat a potato. I love potatoes. So they're satisfying, they're filling, you get everything you need from them, and it's a great way if you've been really caught up in a craving cycle. It can kind of knock you out of that, and that is the reason why he did that to begin with, to kind of get him away from the regular salt, fat, sugar, highly palatable foods that he was eating, so that then healthier plant foods would taste good. So that is a strategy that I have found definitely works. If I've been eating more rich food, I can go to a couple days of less rich food, but things that I still like, and then that helps me. Then I want kale, I want tomatoes, I want to eat an orange, and I stop craving fatty things or fried things or things like that. So that's been a very good strategy for me. Another similarity is that once he reached his target weight, he continues to eat healthfully, but a little bit more relaxed throughout his days, and then has rare and appropriate planned splurges. So the idea, and I agree with him, he says in his book that he hates the term cheat day, and I hate that too, and I don't like it at all. It seems like you're screwing up. It's a bad thing. You know, to me, cheating has a terrible connotation, and so I don't want to be part of having a cheat day. But having a planned, rare, and appropriate indulgence or splurge is something different, and it's not, oh hey, something's in front of me and it looks good, I'll just have a cheat day. It's a planned thing where you get the chance to either experience something with friends, with family, maybe it's part of a memory or just something that you've been thinking about, and so it's a planned thing. The frequency that has worked really well for him is no more frequently than every 2 weeks. So at least every 2 weeks, sometimes more depending on what's going on. And Penn, has currently maintained his weight for, I think, 17 months so far. So that sounds pretty successful to me. And I'm hoping that that's going to be a really successful strategy for me too, because that's what I'm planning to do. And this is part of that. I know I talked about it before, that when I've lost weight in the past, I never really had a plan going forward. And I know that there are some people out there, or there are programs out there that just say, you have to eat this way only for the rest of your life. You can never have a cookie ever again. And so it's not the choice for me. And I think that this is going to be a really great way to stay healthy and also have that flexibility and plan for those occasions where food is a part of the celebration, and it's entertainment, or it's something like that. So that's the similarities. The differences: he did his program for 3 months and I did mine for 6 months. Now, his was much more strict than mine. So, and he lost a lot more weight during that time than I did, but he had a larger starting weight than I did. So those are the differences. My I also didn't eat sugar or flour or nuts or seeds, but there was some, I used some powdered peanut powder and salt. I used salt. He had no salt and other things. So my plan included, and I included fruit in his, did not during weight loss. So my plan was a lot more flexible than his. But again, it was what worked for me, whereas his worked for him. So you can kind of figure out what works for you within there. And then, so one of the other things that was part of Penn's success is using something that's sometimes called intermittent fasting, and that is the idea of not constantly grazing all day long. So narrowing the time window in which you are eating or fed during the day. So, for example, if you stop eating, finish your dinner and whatever by 8 o'clock at night, maybe then you don't eat anything until noon the next day. That would give you 16 hours of not eating, and then 8 hours during which you're eating your calories for the day. Other people will do what's called on off or high low. There's different names, but where you have or up day, down day, where one day you eat more calories, the next day you eat less calories. There's lots of things out there, but the feeding window seems to be a pretty popular choice for intermittent fasting, and it was part of what Penn did. I've experimented with it a little bit, and I don't really have a problem with snacking like after dinner that much. It's just not really. I think my Invisalign kind of helped with that because I put them back in. I have to put them back in right away, and then it's not just you grab something. You have to think about like, oh god, I gotta brush my teeth again. But by the time I get done with dinner, it's about 8 o'clock, and I find waiting 12 hours or even 14 is pretty easy and feels pretty natural to me. But most of the time, purposely waiting until it's been 16 hours starts feeling really icky to me. And I think it puts me in a place where I'm going to be more likely to make a bad choice about the food that I choose. So, all of a sudden, if there happened to be a bagel in the break room, that might start looking really good. So I've done it sometimes. When I have done it regularly, I haven't personally noticed a huge difference as far as how I felt or what my weight loss results were. But again, I haven't done it consistently. I didn't do it consistently for 3 months or 6 months. Sort of maybe 2 or 3 weeks at a time. And but it is something I know a lot of people who use it and swear by it. There are some scientific studies that support it, so it might be something that you could look into that would work for you. If nothing else, it can set a goal if you have an issue with overeating after dinner. I know a lot of people who have an app or a timer on their phone, and when they finish dinner, they start their app, and then just having that gives them a challenge to work towards, and so they don't want to mess up their streak, and so they don't eat after dinner, and that kind of helps keep with healthy habits. So there's different ways that these things can help, and it just depends on you. Another difference is that Penn, with the person who kind of guided him through it, Ray Cronice, advocates for mild cold stress, which is subjecting yourself to not like ice baths, but colder temperatures than you would probably choose on your own. And that helps to, there's a bunch of scientific information that I can't possibly repeat back to you. But mild cold stress is supposed to help with fat burn and have other health promoting properties. And I kind of half-heartedly tried that a little bit. I hate being cold. I just really hate being cold. And so and honestly, I kind of did the opposite. I always feel cold in the winter and actually in the summer too because of air conditioning. And so the thought of, you know, purposely doing more of that, I just couldn't do it. So the flip side of it, I've also read one thing that was saying that, sauna use could have similar effect. So I did the opposite, and I sat in my hot tub almost every night. I don't know if it helped any with weight loss, but it sure made me feel great. So that's not a piece of what I did, but it might be something that works well for you. Now, if I had a pool to swim in, that would be a way that I would do it because I really enjoy swimming in a pool, even if it's a little bit chilly. But trying to do a cold shower or going for a walk in the cold, those things are just really negative to me, and I didn't do it. And okay, so those are some of the similarities and differences between what I did and what Penn Jillette did as reported in his book Presto. And really, again, want to say how much I like the book. I would show you the book, but I have it on Kindle and on audiobook, and they're both fabulous. He reads the audiobook, and he's hilarious. And I really, really was inspired by him, and he just is so real about some of the weight issues and weight loss, and I really got a lot of inspiration from it. And again, I'm super excited to see him in Vegas on Saturday. So and I'll tell you all about it, don't worry. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.